University. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Comcast's continuing coverage of Illinois State basketball. Kurt Pegler along with Bob Morris. The Redbirds on the road for their first time in 23 days, and they're taking on an Ohio U team that has 6 players averaging in double figures in scoring, including a former Indiana star, Armin Bassett, who's just now eligible with his new team.
That's right. All of you Midwest basketball enthusiasts remember the name of Armin Bassett as he came out of Terre Haute, Indiana as a high school McDonald's All-American. He then signed and went to Indiana University. As you stated, Kurt, he spent his first 2 years there. We had quite a bit of success. He was an all-conference player there as a sophomore. He then left in the midst of all of the issues that came up with the Kelvin Sampson era. And we'll just leave that at that. And he moved on, as did Indiana basketball. He moved on and went to UAB in Birmingham, Alabama. Stayed one semester there, transferred here to Ohio University, second semester of last year, and just became eligible at November 28th this year here. Struggled a little bit in his first 3 ball games to find his niche with this squad, and then exploded in their last game on Saturday night. He went for 27 points. He was 9 of 12, I believe it was, from the floor. His accuracy from the field is incredible. He's an awesome player. The Birds will have to focus a lot on him with their defense tonight.
Even though the Redbirds lost Sunday's game to Niagara, the front court played very well, and freshman Jackie Carmichael is making the most of his days in the starting 5.
Jackie Carmichael has gotten his basketball career as a Redbird off to a fantastic start. He's coming off, as you said, a great game against Niagara, which was his season's second double-double. He had 11 points, 13 rebounds, and has led the team in inspiration, I guess, if you could put that in a stat column. His play inspires so many other things that take place on the court. Jackie is doing things. What the coaching staff is looking for him now is consistency. If he can show up on a regular night-in, night-out basis and play as he did in the last game, this young man is going to make his name in Redbird basketball history.
The Redbirds are playing an opponent they haven't seen in 13 years. Ohio U. Stay tuned. The starting lineups and the opening tip up next here on Comcast. Welcome back to Athens, Ohio, home of the Ohio University Bobcats, hosting Illinois State tonight here on Comcast. Kurt Pegler, Bob Morris, our Comcast sports crew here in southeast Ohio as we get set for this matchup between the Mid-American Conference and the Missouri Valley Conference. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. The Redbirds come in at 7-1, and Ohio University comes in at 5-3. The Redbirds, of course, will start Osiris Eldridge, the senior from Chicago, along with Alex Rubin, who will make his 7th consecutive start. He's the junior guard from Minnesota. Lloyd Phillips also in the lineup for Illinois State, but 2 freshmen in the starting lineup tonight for Illinois State. Jackie Carmichael, the freshman from Manhattan, Kansas, will start for ISU. That'll be his 3rd start of the season. And Justin Clark will get his first career start, is what we're told. We'll see here if Dima Odiakosa, if that's the... Okay, see, Dima is coming out. We were told that Justin Clark was starting the game, and every one of us turned our heads, and we were going to wait until we saw Dima come out, and indeed, Dima is coming out.
Okay, April Fool's.
As you can see, the lineups are being introduced here. Ohio University will start Armin Bassett. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. He is the junior from Terre Haute, best known as a former Indiana player, and transferred from UAB, who is now just going to be playing in his 5th game here at Ohio U. He transferred from UAB in the middle of last year, and so now at the semester break, or they're on a quarter situation here, so after their quarter is over, now he's able to play for the Bobcats. You're seeing DJ Cooper, the freshman from Chicago Seton Academy, was on the state champion Seton Academy team last year, which played in Peoria at Carver Arena. He is really turning heads in his first year with the Bobcats. He is in that starting lineup along with Devon Washington, who's a junior from Virginia Beach, 6'8", 225 pounds. Tommy Freeman now being introduced. He's from Muncie, Indiana. His high school team played in a couple of state championship games, so he's got some state championship acumen, if you will. He's kind of a stop and pop shooter. We'll keep our eyes on him tonight. He's considered one of the key matchups for the Redbirds in this game. Kenneth Van Kempen now being introduced. He is from the Netherlands, an international player for the Bobcats. who are coached by John Gross in his second season, 20 wins, 20 losses, an assistant coach at Ohio State, at Xavier, at Butler, at North Carolina State, a great pedigree, and he is in his second season with the Bobcats. Not unlike Tim Jankovic, who's got that great pedigree working under Bill Self and Kevin Stallings and Jack Hartman and Eddie Sutton, who is in his third season at the helm for the Redbirds at 56 wins and 20 losses. Bob, what do you think the keys for tonight's game are?
Well, I think tonight we've got three different things that we're going to have to be watching for tonight.
Certainly one of them is going to be the perimeter.
Well, we have to play defense on the perimeter. There's no question about that, because they've got 6 players that go into double-figure scoring average. 5 of them play on the perimeter. And if you're not conscious of that, you don't get back and play good transitional defense, they're going to burn you. There's no question about that. And I also believe that you got to come with 40 minutes of energy tonight. We have seen our Redbirds play in spurts. Play up, play down, play 5 minutes solid, play 5 minutes sloppy. It's time to get past that point. 40 minutes of good, solid energy, and I think that's a real key. And I think we got to get into an offensive flow. It's enough. We spent enough time trying to figure out our roles. It's time to get comfortable and get into those roles and play with some confidence.
The Redbirds in their road jerseys with white trim. Ohio in their white home jerseys with green trim. And the Redbirds of Illinois State control the opening tap and have the first possession. Lloyd Phillips, the opening shot, is no good. Osiris Eldridge, the offensive rebound, slips it underneath to Jackie Carmichael, who misses the short shot.
Needs to dunk that one. He's right in front of the rim. Take her up and bring her down.
This is just the fifth overall meeting between these two universities. 2 wins and 2 losses for both teams here. Again, meeting number 5 all time between ISU and Ohio. See what the Bobcats do in their first possession. Here's Bassett, guarded by Osiris Eldridge.
Birds in their traditional man-to-man. We haven't seen them vary all season long. I doubt we're going to.
Got a foul underneath, and it's going to go against Ohio. That's going to be Devon Washington called for the foul, so the Redbirds get a stop in their first defensive set.
There's little ways that you can contribute in a game and make big differences. Right there we saw one with Jackie Carmichael going aggressively to a block out and creating a foul for Devon Wilson, hooking him and trying to pull him out of the way.
Here's Eldridge now. Phillips tried to lob the ball in, but it was knocked out of bounds by an active DJ Cooper. I know the Illinois State coaching staff really is impressed with Cooper. As we mentioned, the freshman from Chicago, who has just really made a big difference in his first 8 games here at Ohio.
He is a young man that was very highly recruited coming out of high school in the state of Illinois, and he has done nothing to make anybody think any less of him.
Rubin slips the ball down to Carmichael, but he's called for a travel before he can get the pass off.
Right idea. Good penetration by Alex Rubin on that one to get down into the paint area, attract defense, and dump it to the open man that time, which happened to be Jackie Carmichael.
It's a Missouri Valley Conference coach or a refereeing crew working tonight's game. J.D. Collins, Terry Weimer, Mike Sanzier are the officials working this game here in Athens, Ohio. We are just underway. We played about a minute and a half. We're scoreless. I'm glad you're alongside for Illinois State and Ohio University. Here's Cooper. Now it's Bassett. Gets a screen from Van Kempen. Now a little stutter step, and he turned it over.
They called it palming the ball, which has been a point of emphasis the last 2 years by the officiating crews nationwide at the collegiate level. And I think it's an absolutely great rule. You gain an unbelievable advantage if you cup that ball and turn it rather than keep your hand on top where it belongs, as long as the crew that's calling that is consistent with it.
I think that's what most coaches and fans just say, hey, if you're going to call it, just be consistent, call it all game.
Exactly.
Redbirds having a hard time penetrating. Now it's Phillips slipping it down on cue right to Dima Odiakosa for the finish. Odiakosa is second in the country in field goal percentage. He's shooting it at 71.9%, and a lot of his shots are that high efficiency there from right in close.
Well, he's been the recipient of some outstanding assists, as that one right there was by Lloyd Phillips, who got down into the paint and gave him the ball at a point-blank range. But yet he does a good job of putting himself in a position of being open.
Odiakosa whistled on the foul at the perimeter. That's the Redbirds' first of the night.
Dima wants to be aggressive on that hedge right there when he comes out to help, and he hedges off the screen to show help, but he's got to be quicker to get there. You can't wait till the guard gets past you.
And now it's going to be an illegal screen, and that's going to go against Ohio. That was set by Kenneth Van Kempen, so his first.
Right now we got two teams that look kind of like a boxing match in a first round or something. We got two teams that are just kind of feeling each other out. Nobody's really taking the bull by the horn and taking charge of this contest. And I think as this wears on, you're going to see the Redbirds pick up on this. They need to get going, and I think they will.
It's a second foul now on Van Kempen. Osiris Eldridge's first shot is no good. Tipped him on. It's out of bounds, and it's to Ohio.
You can live with that, I think, because it was a shot that you got your best shooter shooting the ball on the perimeter on a shot that he's wide open, and you got two Redbirds going hard aggressively after an offensive board, and they just happened to knock it out of bounds, couldn't secure it. So that's a positive possession. You just didn't get any points out of it.
Cooper's three from the top of the circle is no good. Carmichael had it off his hands. He throws it back in and snapped and snared that time by Eldridge, who threw it away.
Just a lazy pass. There's no reason for that. That's an unforced error that just had there was not a defense that created that. Osiris took his eye off of Phillips and tried to make a no-look pass and threw it a step behind him.
It's a different look for Osiris Eldridge. He has shaved off the mohawk or the ohawk, just gone kind of back to a traditional haircut. Van Kempen's shot is in.
Not something that he does a lot of. Score at all, let alone from that distance.
Well, we talk a lot about the European players. He's 6'10", 250, but a lot of those guys are very comfortable on the perimeter. He goes back and gets the defensive rebound off a Carmichael shot, and now Ohio U with a chance for the lead now. Bassett's for three, and he missed it. Ball is tipped around. It's going to be controlled by the Bobcats. Cooper goes to the far corner and gets it. He fires a three. That's no good. Cleared by Odiakosa. Now it's Eldridge, a little stutter step. Down the lane, kick out to Rubin. Open three in front of the Bobcats bench is missed. Ball is tipped, out of bounds. It's going to be Illinois State.
I think the Birds might have got a break on that call.
We've got a timeout on the floor. We're just underway here at Ohio U, where it's ISU 2 and Ohio. Back here at Ohio University, where it's a 2-2 game. Here's the lone field goal for the Redbirds so far. You mentioned the nice penetration by Lloyd Phillips there. That set up the whole play.
No question. If you could penetrate into the paint from your point guard position, then you've got an opportunity. You've got an opportunity to set up somebody for a lay-in like that. And I think if the Birds continue to probe and look, they're going to get those chances. They just need to be a little more aggressive, I think, on taking the ball to the hole.
The Redbirds maintain their 5 on the floor, as does the Bobcats, except for they've just made a substitution now. Ivo Baltic, who's from Kansas City, is in the game for the first time. He's a freshman, Eastern European player, and he checks in. And he replaces Van Kempen, who has the 2 fouls.
Right, that's exactly why he went.
Boom. Carmichael down low on a nice feed from Eldridge.
Good read on that. They came off of that weak side. O came hard off the dribble. They doubled on him, and that provided the open lane.
Here's Baltic off a nice feed from Washington. His block, and the ball is stuck.
I've never seen it stuck on a block.
The rule on that is that it's a held ball, and on the alternate possession, it's Illinois State's. Get another look at that one.
No, that would be Ohio.
I'm sorry, Ohio's, yes. Look at that.
That's a first.
You've seen a lot of basketball, Bob, and if that's a first, and that's write that one down.
All right, I like what I'm seeing here after the timeout from the Redbirds. We're showing a little more aggressiveness. We're getting after things here. We had a good possession on offense. It resulted in a dunk by Carmichael. We've had a block. We've had a deflection right here. I think we're getting a little more energy into us here.
Kellen Thornton's in the game now for Illinois State. He replaces Odiakosa. There's a three-pointer that goes down. Jake Kenny, who's a freshman from Champaign Centennial, with that three.
A lot of people in the Bloomington-Normal area remember from the Big 12 Conference. Jake Kenny was a tremendous player.
Helped his high school win the Class 3A state title last year. Here's Phillips. Double team. Through the double team. Slipped it up off the glass. Missed it. Followed up by Thornton. He couldn't get it to go down. Loose ball is corralled by Osiris Eldridge. He's in traffic. Left hand missed it. Tried to get the rebound, but it's out of bounds off of ISU. But the Redbirds had a couple of really good cracks at the basket there.
Well, that possession was basically a story of missed opportunities. We just couldn't get it to go down. Kind of a lethargic game to this point.
So far, yes.
Neither team taking control of the action out there at this point.
5-4 Ohio. We've played about 5.5 minutes. This is Devon Washington working on Carmichael. He traveled.
Yeah,
good
great
defense by Jackie Carmichael.
Great defense. That was a point of emphasis that you and I saw today when the coaches were talking to the players during their shoot-around, that they told the Redbird post players, if you just stay low in your stance and get your hands up, you will be able to stop their post players. Don't go for shot fakes and don't get up in the air. Stay down with both feet in the floor. Good example of it right there by Carmichael.
Reggie Keeley, who's a freshman from the Cleveland area, is in the game now for Ohio. Here's Phillips now, works the baseline. It's Rubin for
Good
three
kick.
from the top, and that's good.
Good kick right there. Lloyd Phillips seeing the floor well on that penetrating drive.
Alex Rubin gaining more confidence with his outside shot in the last couple of games. Here's Baltic now. He's guarded by Thornton. He gets it back. Gets to the lane. Fadeaway. No, he snapped the pass down. Kenny backs in, missed the shot. Loose ball is controlled by Rubin. He gets it out now to Phillips. Quickly up the floor. It's Eldridge. He's going to work baseline. The defense there, he was cut off.
Yeah.
And a foul.
Good setup.
Yeah, Coleman was the one who was guarding him.
Osiris fake going baseline and looked as if he was going to dribble it out, and then spun and went again baseline and drew the foul.
That's the third foul now against Ohio. First foul against Stephen Coleman. Redbirds with a 2-point lead on the basketball. Near steal that time. Thornton comes away with it.
In and out.
Yep, missed the 12-footer. I still think it's safe to say that both offenses have been a little sluggish in the early going.
I'd say that's pretty self-evident.
As the Bobcats turn it back over.
I don't think either coaching staff is applauding what's happening on their offensive end right now, because both squads seem to be turning the ball over just about as many times as they're scoring with it.
Now 3 turnovers apiece, and Justin Clark is in the game now officially for Illinois State.
Well, maybe this is the kind of game that young man can feel comfortable and get going, because we all know from his high school days what a prolific shooter and scorer that he was. Maybe it's a game like this that he can pull it off.
Osiris Eldridge now with a pull-up jumper from the foul line, his first points of the game.
3 hard dribbles right to the middle of the lane in the free throw line area, and boom, knocks it down. I think the Birds need to take advantage of that penetrating dribble. They've been able to get into the lane whenever they've wanted, and good things happen when they do.
Here's Bassett. Pull up 3. Rims out. Offensive rebound for Ohio U. Laying it in is Reggie Keeley.
As many good things as I have to say and think about Jackie Carmichael on that particular defensive possession, he failed to block out and gave up an offensive putback.
Here's Clark now. He lost the ball out of bounds. That's the 4th Illinois State turnover.
They jumped and trapped him on that sideline scenario, and freshman didn't handle it well.
Now Jackie Carmichael goes to the Redbird bench. He'll get a breather. Tony Lewis will take his place, and now Alex Rubin comes back in to replace Osiris Eldridge. So it's Lloyd Phillips, Alex Rubin, Kellen Thornton, Tony Lewis, and Justin Clark, the 5 on the floor for Illinois State. Jackie Carmichael looks like perhaps he's gone to the locker room. He may have had maybe some blood or something on his jersey. He might have to trade that out.
Good defense right there by Tony Lewis, and then the Birds help defense came over and left a man wide open underneath for the lay-in.
And that was Jay Kenny who laid it in. So Baltic with the assist, Kenny with the basket. He has 4, and we're tied at 9.
Still both teams struggling to take control of this game.
Here's Thornton. His shot is no good. Long rebound out of Bassett. Back up the floor comes Ohio U. They're the highest scoring team in the MAC. tough circus shot that time in traffic by Bassett.
Well, he was trying to force the action and draw the foul right there, and it didn't happen.
Ohio U averages about 79 points per game. Here's Lewis now. He spins, and he may have traveled. He did. And now we've got a timeout. Dima Odiakosa will re-enter the game when we come back. It's ISU 9 and Ohio 9. You're watching Redbird basketball here on kind of rough sledding for both offenses here in the early going. The Redbirds shooting just 31%. And Ohio just shooting 33%. Here's Osiris Eldridge's first points of the night, a pull-up jumper.
Well, one thing in a game like this, when you're struggling offensively, you have to remember that it's defense that's going to get your offense going if you put forth the effort on that defensive end. You can't play defense with offensive memories. You can't worry about a shot you missed. You can't worry about things that didn't happen or a call didn't go your way. You got to get back and play defense with the same intention you did before you had problems. So Birds would be okay if they could just get things going defensively and let their defense create some offense.
Kenneth Van Kempen now. That's him with the basketball. He's back in the game. He has 2 fouls for Ohio. He's guarded by Dima Odiakosa. This is Bassett around his screen. Now it's Washington. 10 on the shot clock. It's Cooper giving it up. Shot by Coleman rims out.
For the most part, the Birds have done a very good job of giving just one and done.
I agree.
Hit the boards hard on defense.
Lewis took that little half step, kind of indecision there. He first thought about shooting it, and then he decided he was going to put it on the floor, but he traveled before he did that.
Well, when Tony Lewis gets in the paint and on the block, he knows what he can do down there, and he limits his ability, he limits his role to what it takes to be successful in that paint area. When he gets out on the wing with the ball, he sometimes tries to do more than he's capable of. And as a result, he's had 2 turnovers from that.
Cooper down the lane. He shoots over Terry Johnson, who's in the game now for the first time. A couple of Chicago products going head-to-head there. Here's Eldridge. His 3 is missed, but it's off of Ohio and out of bounds. It was off Armand Bassett's hands.
That was an air ball. And I don't believe anybody down there in the rebounding position was anticipating it. And it went off their hands and out of bounds.
We want to say hello to the folks in the Chicagoland area that are watching us on Comcast here tonight from Athens, Ohio. Here's Johnson looking inside. Instead he goes to Rubin. Lost the dribble looking for some help. Now it's Odiakosa, guarded by Van Kempen. 5 on the shot clock. He backs in on Van Kempen. And a reach in, no, it's going to be a travel. So the Redbirds have really had a hard time with that move here tonight.
Well, turnovers are killing the Redbirds offense right now.
Yep.
7 offensive opportunities that you don't even get a shot away is not a stat that you're going to brag about at halftime with them. You know, the Birds realistically are fortunate to be in the ball game as close as they are. Just being just 3 down after that 3-pointer, the Redbirds are lucky.
That's the 8th 3-point make of the season for Coleman. And now it's going to be free throw time for Terry Johnson.
I believe that's on Van Kampen, which would make his 3rd foul. Well, now they say that's his 2nd foul. We see the penetration here from Terry Johnson, easily drawing the foul.
Well, yes, initially they had him for 2 fouls, but evidently they've changed it. Even our stat sheet continues to say that he has now 3. We know that he only has 2. So they'll change that unofficially there. And now we're going to see Jackie Carmichael re-enter the game for Tony Lewis.
I think you're seeing the ISU coaching staff trying to utilize that bench as much as they can here tonight to trying to find a 5 that'll put things together. Been like pulling teeth up to this point. You have nights on the road like that,
right.
But those things just happen. There's no explanation for it. It just happens. So you better find a way to figure out how to get a W when things aren't going your way.
This is Keeley. Now it's Bassett. 3 from the top of the circle is in.
Boy, his range is unlimited. If you give him that much distance between the defender and him, when he's got the ball in his hand, he's going to light you up.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, coming off kind of a coming out party, a 27-point game at Delaware. Now it's Johnson looking inside to Carmichael, but keeps it instead. 8.5 minutes to go, opening half, and now an illegal screen against Carmichael. And that's another turnover.
Well, I believed on the skip pass the Birds passed up two shooting opportunities right there. You were seeing a little hesitation, and I think in their confidence to pull the trigger and let the ball fly. And as a result, they had to run a reverse with the screen, and that drew the foul, which is another turnover.
Lloyd Phillips off the bench now to the scorer's table. He'll check in at the next whistle.
Bobcats are running the old weave up top with their three guards, trying to then get into you and break you down or let it fly.
And there's Bassett letting it fly, but it wouldn't go down. Now Eldridge back for the Redbirds after the Carmichael defensive rebound. Odiakosa down low. Pump fake. Had a shot blocked.
Oh.
Quickly up the floor is Cooper.
He got too deep on that.
He leaves for Washington, who was trailing the play. And we've got an offensive foul. It's going to go against Devon Washington.
Excellent job of Alex Rubin stepping in from the help side. Knowing he couldn't get a steal. We'll see here in the replay. Both feet are set. You'll take that. That's what somebody that's heads up and smart can do for you. Good job by Alex Rubin right there from help side defense.
Two schools, a very memorable meeting back in 1983 in the NCAA tournament. A game won by Ohio U at the Horn after Illinois State had tied the game. Raynard Mullane had hit a jump shot in the final seconds to tie the game. It looked like the game was headed to overtime, and then before you knew it, there was a last-second kind of a up and under shot, a fadeaway shot, a very difficult shot that went in, and Ohio U beat the Redbirds 51-49 in March of 1983.
They threw the ball the length of the floor into the middle of their lane. It squirted loose to the left elbow. They picked it up and threw a desperation shot at the basket that went in.
The Redbirds try to go backdoor to Carmichael, and he's fouled. So it's kind of a high-low game from the post players as Odiakosa lobbed to Carmichael.
Well, they were setting something up there to get Jackie Carmichael going to the basket and try to take advantage of his size and bulk, and they didn't get the basket but drew the foul.
Eldridge triggers, and he gets it back from Carmichael. Now to the paint. Now it's Rubin. His three is missed. Van Camp on the rebound.
Those are good shots. You just got to let them fly when you're open. You can't hesitate, and Alex didn't on that. And I like seeing that. There can't be hesitation from your shooters.
Bassett works baseline, missed the shot. Van Camp an offensive rebound. Another look at it. Here's their outside threat, Freeman. Tommy Freeman has 20 three-point makes on the season. Missed that one. Now it's Eldridge. Crossover dribble. Again a kick out to Rubin. Thought about the three. Passes it up for Eldridge. His three from the corner is good.
Good job by Alex Rubin once again to make that extra pass back to Osiris, who was wide open in the corner.
First three-point make of the night for Osiris. He's got 5 points on the evening. Trims that Ohio U lead to 1.
Birds are 5 of 17 from the floor.
DJ Cooper with a long three. Just kind of flings it up there.
When you're shooting a whopping 29% and you're only down 1, you got to try to find the positives in there.
Now Carmichael. Double teamed, kicks it out. It's Rubin. Phillips is open. He's going to try a three. Front of the rim is no good. Odiakosa offensive rebound. The Redbirds are going to get another look at it.
Good job that time by Dima.
Phillips kick out. Now it's going to be Eldridge from that same spot. Missed the three. Now it's Cooper quickly up the floor. He tried to get it to a trailing Bassett, but it was picked off by Eldridge and then stolen back by Cooper.
Sloppy play both ways there.
Freeman gives it up near travel, but it's going to be a foul on Carmichael, it looks like. And nearly a turnover that time by the Bobcats, but instead Jackie Carmichael is whistled for his second foul. And even the fans are trying to tell everybody how to shoot the basketball tonight, because the offense has been less than pretty, right?
Oh, I think that's one way you could put it. When there's 26% for the Redbirds and an even 30% for the Bobcats, that's... Whew. They will not have to replace these nets at the end of the half.
And Jay Kinney, however, has been very good. He has another three-point make, and he's given Ohio a 4-point lead. The freshman from Champaign has 8 points to lead all scorers. Here's Rubin now. Skip pass over the top of the defense to Phillips. Now it's Eldridge, who finds Odiakosa. Now Phillips in the corner. 10 on the shot clock. Ball was kicked that time by Freeman. The NCAA rule says that if the shot clock is under 15 seconds when the defense kicks it, it'll be set back out to 15. At that time, the shot clock was down to 10, so they back it back up to 15. Eldridge to trigger. He gets it in now to Odiakosa. As we approach the 5-minute mark left in this opening half, we'll talk with Doug Banks from the Illinois State Athletic Department. He's the Assistant Athletics Director for Development. He'll be our halftime guest. Phillips slips the pass into Dima. Odiakosa missed the shot. Offensive rebound. Dima after a three-point opportunity now. So Odiakosa missed the first short one, but got a second crack at it and now has a chance for a three-point play.
Once again, dribble penetration that time by Lloyd Phillips once again from the baseline and shuffled it out from under the basket to Dima. Missed the first shot, stayed with it, went after it again, made the basket, drew the foul. Those are the little things on nights that it goes ugly for you on offense that you just have to continue to do. You got to make free throws, and you got to give yourself second chance opportunities by crashing the boards.
And the Redbirds do both there. They get a second chance points there, and they make the free throw. It's a 1-point Ohio lead. Here's Freeman, steps around the screen. Cooper's in the corner. Now it's Kinney. Both those guys are freshmen. This is another freshman, Reggie Keeley. Backs in on Odiakosa, flips it up with the right hand and scores it. Keeley with 4 points off the Bobcats bench. Thornton looks inside, instead goes out to Phillips around a screen from Odiakosa. Down the lane, floater, missed it, tipped around, controlled by Ohio U. Quickly up the floor, it's Cooper. He beats everybody down, lays it up with the left hand and in.
With Lloyd Phillips penetrated that time, one of the other two guards, whether it be Alex or Osiris, have to rotate back to prevent the breakout as we saw right there happen.
First points of the night for DJ Cooper. Timeout called by Tim Jankovic. Like we said, it's just been tough sledding here for the Redbirds to get anything going, shooting under 28% here in this opening half. And the largest lead of the game for either team is this 5-point advantage by Ohio at 22-17. Here's another look at that last sequence.
Probably a shot that on normal nights you don't want to take, but you're trying to make something happen when you get in the lane. But when you get somebody in there, the other two have to rotate back, and that didn't happen on that possession. You've got to recognize situations and understand what's happening so that the other team doesn't get easy baskets. When it's difficult for both teams to score, you've got to minimize easy opportunities for your opponent.
Under 4 minutes to go here now in this opening half. Here's Odiakosa, hands to Eldridge. Down the lane, floater, off the glass and in. Boy, that's a tough shot.
And it was. Floating one way to his left and shot back over his right.
Eldridge now with 7. Cooper left open for 3, and that's in. He was wide open on the wing.
Again, set up by dribble penetration into the paint and then the kick out.
5 consecutive points for Cooper, and it's a 6-point Ohio lead. A double team, and Osiris is picked. Kinney all the way down. Tried to leave it for Freeman, and he left it too far. The ball evidently was saved, however. Eldridge to Odiakosa, spins, and draws contact on a foul. So 2 more free throws coming the way of Dima Odiakosa. The foul will go on Reggie Keeley.
Reggie Keeley, it's his first personal.
And we've got a timeout on the floor. 3:04 to go here, opening half. Ohio leads Illinois State 25-19. You're watching Redbird basketball here on Comcast. Eldridge has 7 points for the Redbirds. He leads Illinois State in scoring. His most difficult shot was this one here, Bob, when he got around a screen and he's fading away and he's got to kiss it off the glass.
Well, great touch right there. You're floating away from the basket, going to your left and can kiss it off the glass and put it down like that, that's a great touch. They just got to get a little more consistent. It's one of those nights where things aren't going their way offensively. If they're not struggling enough at 30% shooting, they're turning the ball over, which they already, with 3 minutes left in the half, have 10 turnovers, which is more than they care to have at this point in time. What you can do to remedy that? Tighten down the screws on defense. Quit turning the ball over and do what you can to get easy baskets and try kicking it inside to your post players. Let them draw some fouls and go to the hoop that way.
And sometimes the best thing that can happen is halftime. If you can just kind of limp into halftime and still be in the game,
yep.
You know, you sit down, you talk things out, you hash things out, and you come back out in the second half and make it a completely different ballgame.
Yep.
And the Redbirds have 3:04 to get there. But here's Odiakosa at the foul line.
Big strong right there.
Demo, as we mentioned, has had consecutive double-doubles. He's coming off a 14-point, 13-rebound game against Niagara. Missed both the free throws, though. Cooper goes and gets the long rebound. We're at 3 minutes to go here in this opening half of play. Kurt Pegler, Bob Morris, our Comcast Sports crew with you here at Ohio. That's going to be offensive goaltending.
Oh, gotta be.
Yeah, ball tag was in the cylinder.
Yeah, that was silly. That ball was, I think, going to go in. But it's a break for the Redbirds' favor. Those are the kind of things. You know, when breaks go your way and you're struggling, you got to take advantage of a break. You got to come down and score from it.
Justin Clark in, Kellen Thornton out of the Redbird lineup. That's Clark with the basketball now. Being guarded by Freeman. Man-to-man defense is what Ohio will use pretty much all night. Eldridge is double teamed. Now it's Phillips. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Birds are just struggling to get into any rhythm again tonight. That's two games in a row.
How about that pass from Phillips down to Odiakosa?
Wow. They cheated on that one and left their post player up to help double on Phillips, and he read it very well. Dima got himself in a position to dunk.
He just ready to kneel and snap the pass down to Odiakosa, and now we've got a foul against Ohio, offensive foul.
Illegal screen set there by Evo Baltic, which is a freshman, trying to do a little too much. We see it right there. He sticks his knee out and hips him. And that's going to be called every time.
We've seen a handful of those already here tonight. A lot of screens going on at the perimeter. 2 minutes to go here in this opening half.
Well, as you said a while ago, the Birds got a chance here to still stay in this game. They haven't played themselves out. They're only down 4. They need to finish as well as they can with the remaining minute and a half left.
3 from Rubin is missed. Offensive rebound, Odiakosa. Now it's Phillips. He's going to fire up a 3. Long rebound tipped around, and it's going to go into the hands of the Bobcats. It's Jay Kenny, who's had a very good first half. And 90 seconds to go here in this opening half.
Both teams struggling to find consistency in any form here offensively.
Bassett going one-on-one with Clark. Now it's the corner. It's Cooper. Now Freeman. He's the three-point specialist. Missed the shot. Long rebound out of Odiakosa.
Birds have been fortunate a couple of times. He's been wide open. Freeman has been, and he's their specialist from out there.
Demo with a 7.7 rebound opening half. Make it a 9.7 rebound opening half. Boy, Demo the last couple of minutes really keeping the Birds in it.
Yeah, that's a great feed there by Alex Rubin. Took him right to the open spot on the way to the basket.
And here's steal that time by Eldridge. A 3 from the corner is missed. And it's going to be a foul on, looks like Odiakosa. Is that right? Yes, that's who they're pointing to.
That's really, that's a tough foul because he had inside position right there, and it appeared from our angle that it was an over the back. We'll see the replay here. You got Demo on the inside, and the contact was initiated by the other player. Again, when things go bad, they go real bad. You got your best. Demo is scoring best for you, and now he gets a second foul with 40 seconds left in a half, and you can't chance him picking up a third one.
About a 7-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock here. Here's Bassett now.
Be nice to get a stop and try to even this thing up.
Cooper for 3 is in.
He was left way too open, had too much time with these feet set. You were hoping for a tie, and now you're down 5.
Cooper with 2 3-point makes now in this opening half. Final seconds of the opening half. Here's Thornton, works baseline. Kick out. Clark for 3. That's missed. Cleared by Ohio U. That's going to be the half. So the Bobcats will take a 5.
Offense isn't flowing the way you want it to, or you can try to create some confidence by saying, okay, we got that out of the way. We'll move on. Let's find ourselves out there in the second half and be more like ourselves in what we came here to do.
The big difference is the 3-point shooting. The Redbirds 2 of 11 from 3-point land. And Ohio is 6 of 16, so they're capitalizing on that. The Bobcats have yet to shoot a foul shot. The Redbirds 3 out of 5 from the line. The rebounding edge slightly to Illinois State at 19-18. 10 first half turnovers. I'm sure Tim Jankovic is making that a point of emphasis in the locker room. And Ohio U with 8. So both teams probably can certainly better their efforts in the second half of taking care of the basketball. Again, it's a 28-23 Bobcat lead. What kind of adjustments are going to be made here for the second half?
Well, again, I'm starting to sound rather redundant in my speech here, but I think the Redbirds need to get the ball inside and get it to your post players. And I think let good things happen from that and either draw fouls or make baskets or both. And then once they double down, kick out and look for a scoring opportunity, not off the dribble, but from a set position. When the kick out happens, you've got your feet underneath you and you can shoot from a squared up position. But start by getting the ball inside, whether it be off the dribble or off the pass.
And you know what? If the Redbirds have a very good second half, nobody's going to care about what happened in the first half. You know, it hasn't been a very pretty first half for either team, but if the Redbirds come back and win this game on the road after a better second half, no one will care what happened in the first 20 minutes.
That's exactly right. And the thing that you got to remember, and that the Birds have to remember, that the staff I know is reminding them of, this is a game that's very winnable. If we can come out here, correct our errors, and get ourselves back on track, the Birds then can take care of business, put this thing away the way they want to, leave here feeling good about themselves.
28-23, Ohio leads Illinois State at the half. Back with more from Athens, Ohio in just a minute. This is Illinois State basketball live on Comcast. Freeman, number 24. The Redbirds are trying to bounce back from their first setback of the season. They lost their first game on Sunday at home to Niagara, 7-1 on the season, their first road game in 23 days. And the second half is underway as Illinois State starts with it. Here's Eldridge. He's going to go down low to Odiakosa. Backs in on Van Kempen. Backs in a little bit more. Missed the short shot. Tried to go get the rebound. Ball is loose and it's on the floor. And it's going to be a tie-up. Held ball. This time the arrow is going in favor of Ohio.
All right, two things I saw there that I like, though. One, we got the ball down inside, and there was an attempt to score from a low post position. Didn't happen, but we're trying to establish some flow to our offense. Did you see the replay here? The ball goes loose after the miss. There's two Redbirds going after it. They're on the floor. They're fighting for it. That's the energy that I'm talking about. If you fight with that kind of desire and pride, good things will happen eventually.
Here's Bassett. He's the Indiana transfer. Also never really played. He enrolled at UAB, but was just there for the first semester. Shot is missed. Odiakosa tried to track it down, but stepped on the sidelines.
Tough rebound. I mean, when it goes that far away, you're clear over to the sideline by the scorer's table, and nobody has gotten control of it. So it's a difficult rebound. But again, I'll go back to say, those are the loose ball rebounds that when you're not going very well offense, you got to come up with those. Got to find a way to get them.
This is Bassett. Now it's Freeman. Cooper had a very good first half. That's him with the basketball. He's the freshman from Chicago. Here's Freeman. He's the three-point specialist. Now it's Bassett again with 10 on the shot clock. He's guarded by Rubin. He's going to shoot over Rubin. Missed it. Tipped out. Controlled by Cooper. Down the lane. Scooped it up and in. Tough shot.
Too many second chance opportunities right there. We didn't track down the long, loose rebound, and we gave them an opportunity on a rebound right there that we didn't get.
And now a held ball, this time with arrow in favor of Illinois State. Cooper, the first player in double figures tonight. He has 10. The 7-point Ohio lead is the largest of the game. Redbirds really could use a basket here. Here's Carmichael. His 12-footer is in and out.
Oh, boy. It's just one of those times. I mean, that's a great shot, and you got a good person taking it from the distance that he's comfortable with, and it rattles around and comes out.
Yvonne Washington.
And the next thing you know, guys that don't normally score for them step up and do. From that distance anyway.
Washington is a guy with 6 double-digit scoring games this season. He had 7 all of last year, so he's taking an increased role in the scoring. Here's Rubin now. Kick over to Phillips for 3 from the corner. That's missed. One and done for the Birds. Back up the floor is Bassett. Now it's Freeman. 3 from in front of his bench, and that's in.
You just knew that was going to happen. The Birds got to take a timeout, and they do. Coach Jankovic calls it quickly.
Ohio U has opened the second half on a 10-0 run. And suddenly it's a 35-23 Bobcats advantage. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 17:36 to go here in regulation. The Redbirds are down 12, back on a 7-0 run. Here's DJ Cooper. As we mentioned, the first player in double figures. He has 10, the freshman from Chicago, playing very well for the Bobcats.
Well, it allowed dribble penetration to get him into that area. And damage gets done whenever you get that low off the dribble.
He had the assist on that second basket from Washington. Now here's Carmichael, stripped. Ball's out of bounds. Redbirds will maintain it.
Birds trying to get the ball back down the inside, that time to Carmichael, and the help side came over and stripped him as he was going in for the bucket.
Eldridge gets it in now to Odiakosa, back to Osiris Eldridge. His pull-up jumper, rims out. Carmichael with a rebound. Aggressive rebound that time. Now it's Eldridge. Works himself to the baseline.
Too much dribbling.
Reverse layup off the glass and in. Tough shot by Osiris.
I realize it was successful at the end with the bucket, but it's too much dribbling. That's working too hard to get a pass. Move the ball.
9 points now for Eldridge. First field goal of the second half of the Redbirds. Washington, fade away. Boy, that's a tough shot too, and that's in. 6'8", 225. He's a junior. He's from Virginia Beach. He's got 4 points here in the second half. Now Phillips. Here's Rubin. Phillips guarded by Cooper.
Just not much movement happening for the Redbirds right now. There's a lot of standing and watching other people dribble.
Catch and shoot 3 from the corner from Eldridge, no good. It's Washington that comes down with it. Freeman wasn't expecting the pass. We approach
once again, penetration.
Cooper again, right down the lane, score with the left hand. 12 points now for DJ Cooper. Played his high school basketball at Seton Academy. Won a state championship last year with that team. And has made a nice transition into the college hoops. Eldridge entry past that time. It's going to be a foul on Washington as he got right hacked up on Carmichael. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Officials timeout. 39-25. Ohio leads Illinois State. Back with more from Athens, Ohio in a moment. This is Redbird basketball. Your baseline for these tough points. Osiris now with 9 points on the evening. The Redbirds trying to cut into a suddenly 14-point Ohio U lead. 39-25. Kurt Pegler, Bob Morris, and our Comcast Sports crew with you here in Athens, Ohio. Phillips, nobody's going to guard him. He's going to walk up and knock down the 3.
Good recognition that time by Lloyd. Nobody came out, picked him up, dribbled into his shot, and knocked down an easy 3.
They just almost dared him to shoot it. Now it's Bassett.
Again, look at the depth that they're getting off of dribble penetration coming right down the middle of the lane. Defense has just got to man up. They can't let people penetrate to that degree and expect positives to happen.
Armand Bassett started his college basketball career at Indiana. Played there a couple of years, was an all-Big Ten performer as a sophomore when he led the Big Ten in three-point shooting percentage. He shot it at 45% from beyond the arc. When Calvin Sampson left, he left as well. Found himself at Alabama Birmingham last year. Didn't like it after a semester. Transferred here. Just became eligible 4 games ago. So this is game 5 for Bassett in an Ohio U uniform. Eldridge dribbles to the baseline. Floater is no good. Tony Lewis is now in the game for Illinois State. Bassett down the lane. And he's got a 3-point opportunity.
No question about the foul. A bump from behind by Tony Lewis. And once again, the dribble went from one end of the floor to the other end of the floor, resulted in a layup. Nobody stopped the man with the ball. That is not Redbird defense.
And Bassett, who struggled in that first half to get things going, now seems to be in a much better flow here in the second half. Terry Johnson comes in to replace Alex Rubin for Illinois State. Bassett was 1 of 6 for 3 points in the opening half. And now he has 7. A little pump fake, and it's going to be Tony Lewis drawing contact. We're going to say the whistle happened before the shot, so it's going to be a foul on the floor. That's against Van Kempen. He's going to be guilty of his 4th foul. Is that correct?
I don't believe that was on.
It's not. It's on Kenny. Terry Johnson now running the point. Both he and Lloyd at the same time. Lloyd Phillips. And now a steal. Nope. DJ Cooper tried to get it, but he was tiptoeing on the out-of-bounds line.
There was a block on the shot attempt. And again, when help side comes over, a post help comes over, you've got to give the ball up. You got to have thoughts in your mind where you're going with it prior to leaving the floor. So when you're in the air, that's when you can't start making your mind up there. You got to have thoughts where you're going to deliver a pass.
Lewis around Van Kempen. Kick out now to Phillips. Penetrates, slips it right back to Lewis off his hands and out of bounds. And it's been one of those nights for the Redbirds.
Oh, my, that was perfect execution. I mean, the ball got moved. It was moved quickly. We got penetration into the lane and had the opportunity for a lay-in and then mishandled it. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
There are nights this happens, so you got to find a way. There's a lot. I mean, there's 14 and a half minutes left in the ball game. You just got to have some heart.
Absolutely.
Get back in there, do the tough things, and try to make something happen.
Cooper for 3. Rims out. Odiakosa, defensive rebound for Illinois State. Now it's Johnson up to Lewis. He's one-on-one with Van Kempen.
Got to move the ball. Can't stand and hold it. Letting the defense get a chance to set up and play defense.
Penetration from Terry Johnson. And a shot blocked. It was the bigger Reggie Keeley who got his hand on it, but the ball was out of bounds to the Redbirds. We're going to see Evo Baltic come back in. He wears number 3. He'll come in for Van Kempen. And now DJ Cooper goes out and Armin Bassett returns. Kenneth Van Kempen, they call him KVK. Under 14 minutes to go here in this game. Redbirds trying to cut into a 15-point lead, and the ball is out of bounds to Ohio.
On an attempt to reverse dribble, Osiris loses control. The ball goes out of bounds. Once again, we're dribbling too much. We got to move the ball off the pass. We got to get movements where we have people coming to the open spot, give the ball up to the open man, not dribble and pound it so much.
Tough shot. Kenny flipped it up, wouldn't go. Back from the Birds now. Here's Eldridge. Works on Bassett to the baseline, and they're going to say he palmed it. No, he traveled.
Once again, dribble. We got 2 guys waving their arms. They're wide open, and the ball was, there's no attempt to look for an open man there. And again, it's not selfishness. It's people like Osiris wanting good things to happen, but trying too hard individually. It's a team game. That's why 5 of you are out there, and you got to play within the structure of one another.
Good defense by Odiakosa that time. Coleman's shot was short. Now it's Phillips in the front court. The Redbirds have come up with a couple of defensive stops. Now they got to cash in offensively. There's Lewis off the nice slip pass from Phillips.
And again, that was a perfect example. The dribble attracted 2 defenders, and then you give it up to the open man. Result, a lay-in.
First points of the night for Lewis. Junior college transfer. Played his high school basketball in Chicago at Phillips. 13-point Ohio lead. 12.5 to go. Bassett around Phillips, hangs, fires, missed it. Well, the Bobcats have had several of those layup looks here in the second half. Now it's Johnson. Penetrates and kick out. It's going to be Eldridge for three. Back of the iron, no good. Lewis fights for it, can't get it. Bassett gets it for Ohio. Now it's Keeley, guarded by Lewis. It's the kick out. Coleman, his three is in. And Stephen Coleman, who's a 39% three-point shooter, knocks down his second three-point make of the game.
Again, he was able. There wasn't anybody guarding him till after he went into his shots. You got to make him put the ball on the floor from that distance. That's not his forte. Standing and shooting is.
The 16-point lead is the largest of the game now. Here's Eldridge. His floater is missed. Tries to fight for the rebound, but he is out-muscled by Reggie Keeler. Here comes Coleman in transition. And the Bobcats are blowing it open now.
The Redbirds are not making an attempt to get back on defense, and it's not good thing happening when those types of situations happen.
Well, transition defense was the first thing that Tim Jankovic told us in the postgame on Sunday that he was disappointed in his team's effort against Niagara, and transition defense is coming up again in the conversation here tonight.
Well, I made the comment earlier that you can't let your your offensive woes carry over onto your defensive mentality, and that's what's happening right now. We're not shooting the ball well, so we're worried about that rather than worried about our defensive assignment once they obtain possession. And as a result, as you just saw in the replay, they get easy baskets when you're not thinking defense. And that's not resulting in good Redbird basketball. That's not what this coaching staff preaches on a daily basis. And it's just one of those nights where if things could go wrong, they do go wrong. And they're going to get back in the gym and get this corrected.
Justin Clark has checked in now for Illinois State, so it's Johnson and Clark, Odiakosa, Eldridge, and Lewis, who has the basketball right now. That's the five on the floor. Now here's Clark. Works on Kenny. Hangs, fires, missed the shot. Offensive rebound to the Redbirds. Lewis had it. Stripped out of his hands. Back comes Stephen Coleman now for Ohio. Down the lane, he's bumped, and it's going to be a three-point opportunity.
Again, length of the floor. Nobody stopped the ball on the perimeter. It goes all the way into the front of the rim, and then a foul happens. Now
there seems to be some conversation whether or not he was on the act of shooting.
No,
they're going to say no.
It should not have counted, and they did wipe it off. That's good officiating when they work together. Good officiating when they talk and work together like that.
John Gross doesn't like the call. Of course, there's a difference of opinion on that bench, but his team has an 18-point lead. Timeout on the floor. 10:59 to go here at Ohio. The Bobcats lead the Redbirds by 18. Back with more in a moment. You're watching Illinois State basketball here on Comcast. Ohio, 48-30. The Bobcats had a 5-point halftime lead, and they've now stretched it out to 18. Ohio calls a 30-second timeout as John Gross didn't like the fact that a couple of his players were pinned in the corner there.
Redbirds, with just under 11 minutes remaining in the game, have to recognize that they've got to establish something positive from this night. And that doesn't mean, I'm not talking wins and losses right here. They've got to leave right now, and when this game is over, feeling like there was an effort made to play defense. If they're going to have any chance of establishing identity as a quality ball club, they've got to start on the defensive end. And there's been slippage in the last 2 to 3 ball games in that area. Tonight, we've seen it go to a depth that we've not seen it reach before. So they've got to recognize the identity they need is to be a tough, hard-nosed defensive team. And the sooner they get there, the better off they'll be.
And the Redbirds will be back on the road Saturday at Utah, so another road test for this team. Here's Bassett now, guarded by Eldridge. Down the lane, floats a pass to Coleman, and it's going to be a foul on Justin Clark, it looks like. Yes, indeed it is.
Illinois State foul, Justin Clark's second team. Fourth.
That's the fourth team foul on the Birds and the second against Clark. Off the inbounds, it's Kenny. Catch and shoot, miss it. Clark the rebound. Here's Eldridge. He's going to go one-on-one with Coleman. He's bumped, and now it's out to Clark. Now nice move by Terry Johnson. Good defense that time by the Bobcats, though.
He's got to recognize that there's nothing wrong with pulling up and taking a short jumper rather than forcing the action.
Now it's Kenny down the lane scoring with the left hand. That has been a move that Ohio has exploited here in the second half.
They've seemed to have been able to penetrate to all the way to the rim and for the lay-in without much difficulty in the second half.
DJ Cooper has used that. Kenny has used that. Armand Bassett has used that. Here's Carmichael. Missed the short shot. Offensive rebound. Had it swatted from behind. Got it back. Underneath. Too far.
Wow.
Now it's Bassett.
Another lay-in.
In transition. Pass was
hustle back by Justin.
Washington couldn't complete the play. Now it's Eldridge in the front court. Lost the dribble. Here's Clark. Catch and shoot. His three is missed.
Boy, it's been ages since the Birds have made a basket. They desperately are in need of something
And
positive.
now a steal. Terry Johnson. There's your basket.
Thank you, Terry. Now let's get several more. But let's start by getting some defensive stops.
Terry Johnson now with 4 points. We approach the 9-minute mark left in this one. Here's Coleman. Now Van Kempen from the baseline. That's good.
Hey, there wasn't anybody within 15 feet of him.
Played for the Dutch under-18 national team. His father is a club team coach of the Netherlands. Now it's Carmichael. He answers.
Nice touch right there by Jackie Carmichael. That's the range that I think Jackie Carmichael brings with his size that not many post players can give you. And to add that to his inside game.
Foul now against Illinois State. Washington's going to get some free throws. And the foul is on Jackie Carmichael. Now, Jackie was very active in the game against Niagara with his 11-point, 13 rebound effort. It's been a little more difficult here tonight. Of course, Ohio has a little bit more size than does Niagara. This is Washington at the foul line. Deadened that ball, and it just rolled in. Now the Redbirds will send Kellen Thornton, Lloyd Phillips, and Dima Odiakosa in to replace Carmichael, Eldridge, and Lewis.
Again, I think the staff is looking for any combination that will click and get things rolling out there.
Well, the college basketball season is a long season. You start practice in October. You hope to still be playing deep into March. And you're going to have stretches where everything seems to go right and stretches where nothing seems to go right. And it's one of those nights where the Redbirds are really laboring. Here's Odiakosa underneath. He had it blocked from behind by Washington. Kellen Thornton came away with a loose ball. He's going to fire up a three, Will Thornton, and that's in.
Nice stroke right there by Kellen Thornton.
Thornton, for a big man, has a nice soft touch and not afraid at all to shoot it from beyond the arc. That's his third three-point make of the season. 3 out of 6, so 50%. That's not bad. Here's Washington's turnaround jumper. That's missed, and Thornton back to get the defensive board for the Birds.
Good job that time on defense by the Birds.
Crossover dribble by Phillips and a collision. And it's going to be, an offensive foul on Phillips. Freeman took the charge, and we've got a timeout on the floor. 7:43 to go here. Ohio 54, ISU 37. You're watching Redbird basketball here on Comcast. 54-37, Ohio U with the lead over the Redbirds. This is Kellen Thornton with the three from in front of the Illinois State bench. And then just moments ago, senior guard Lloyd Phillips involved in this collision. And he kind of hobbled off the floor. He's to the Redbird locker room. Now he's come back out. He's working with John Munn, the athletic trainer. And now he's kind of half in the tunnel and half back out. But he looks
Well,
like he's trying to walk off. It looks almost like a Charlie horse or something. Maybe
Yeah,
he got
I
a
think
knee to the thigh.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what he had happen.
So he's out of the game. And Justin Clark is in.
From this point on, I'll repeat myself again. The Birds have to focus on defense.
And there's a steal by Terry Johnson. He flips it ahead now to Thornton. He's the one that just hit the three-pointer a moment ago. Skip pass over the top of the defense to Rubin. Thought about the three, now penetrates out. It's going to be Terry Johnson taking a three. That's missed. And tipped out. Here comes Cooper. Phillips is now coming back to the Illinois State bench. Van Kemp in the miss. Defensive rebound by Clark.
I believe the Redbirds would take Van Kampen shooting the ball from 18 feet every time down.
But there's 7 minutes to go. Now it's Clark. One-on-one with Washington. He's given up a couple of inches there. Thornton. Hook shot that goes in one-handed.
Good touch right there. Patient on offense, good ball movement, resulted with a shot from the inside.
5 points now for Kellen Thornton. Here's Bassett around a screen, illegal screen that time from Van Kempen.
He wanders very far away from the basket. Not many good things happen. We need to somehow, the Redbirds need to somehow try to get him more involved.
Here's Clark around Van Kempen to Odiakosa and an offensive foul. That's the second consecutive charge taken by Freeman.
Now, okay, I'm not disagreeing that that was a charge, but he's also laying right underneath the rim. And it's my understanding here is we see it on replay that if you're standing low enough that you're literally under the rim and under the net, that's a block automatically. That's a new rule this year that was instituted.
Here's Van Kempen. Missed the shot. Washington the rebound. Stripped by the Redbirds. It's Johnson that comes away with it. Near pass, Rubin. His jumper is good. His foot was evidently on the line, so not a three-pointer. Redbirds are within 13. It's the closest the Redbirds have been in a while. In fact, John Gross not happy about that at all. And Ohio has called a 30-second timeout.
Well, defense has created some offensive opportunities. I believe that's 3 consecutive stops in a row that the Birds have gotten. They scored on 2 of them. They're back to within 13. Positive things happen when you do the tough things in life. And defense is the difficult thing in a basketball game. You get stops there. It leads to breakouts like this. Ball gets in the middle. Kick out to your wing. Rubin's running the wing, gets squared up, and drops down a 3. Good luck. All starts from the effort given on the defensive end, though.
And like you've said, pretty much all night, when you're not shooting the ball well, when things just aren't happening offensively, you got to hang your hat on defense and on steals and hope that you can create some things, hoping you can create some offense and get some easy baskets with your defense.
That's exactly right. You have to. Because eventually you're going to come out of your shooting woes. That's a given. That's like a hitting slump for a baseball player. You know, if you can't stop hitting, you got to keep swinging.
Get enough swings, and eventually you'll bust out of it.
Exactly.
Cooper, his 3. Boy, he's a good player.
Freshman mistake right there by Terry Johnson, going under the screen rather than coming through it hard and quick.
Clark slips a pass into Odiakosa, who scores.
We're not really in a position to trade baskets, though. We need to get some stops again.
Odiakosa is the first Redbird in double figures. He now has 11. It's his 3rd consecutive double-double. 11 points, 11 rebounds now for the big man, Dima Odiakosa. Here's Bassett. Van Kempen. Got his own rebound and laid it in. His baseline jumper hit the front of the rim. He got it back and laid it in.
Well, the mistake made there by Dima was that he flew at the shooter rather than staying on the floor. And as he flew at him, the shot came up short, and he did not have position for a rebound.
Another nice assist from Terry Johnson. He slipped the ball between a couple of defenders. And a lay-in basket by Odiakosa. Blake Mishler is at the scorer's table. And so the junior from Metamora is set to check in at the next whistle.
The Bobcats are content to run that weave out front again, which runs some time off the clock.
Oh, and near steal that time by Alex Rubin. In fact, the Redbird bench not happy at all with that call. So the foul is against Rubin. And that's his first. And we'll see Blake Mishler come in, and he's going to give Dima Odiakosa a breather. Mishler has not played in the last 3 games after seeing action in the Redbirds' first 5, and so now he's back on the floor. Here you see Odiakosa go to the Redbird bench. And Bassett to the foul line for the Bobcats. He had a very sluggish start to his Ohio U career. In his first 3 games, he was 6 of 30 from the field, but seemingly has got some of those things corrected. And we mentioned that he had a 27-point scoring effort on Saturday night against Delaware. And now he has a 9-point scoring effort against the Birds here tonight. Here's Mishler down the lane and laid it in, right in the game and right in the scorebook.
I tell you, that was a beautiful little feed right there from Terry Johnson. Led him right to the open area because he was in a crowd, but he threw it to the open area, and Mishler was able to not only catch it, but lead him right to the rim.
Johnson with assists on the last 3 Redbird field goals.
By running the weave here, they not only set up themselves for some outside shots, they run some clock if they want to.
And then it's Bassett who knocks it down, so he's in double figures now with 12 points.
Miscommunication again on defense. No one near him on the shot attempt.
And it's going to be a block this time against Ohio U. Terry Johnson aggressively going to the basket. Blake Mishler, the junior from Metamora, with his first field goal of the season.
Nice job there collecting the ball on the feed from Terry Johnson and laying it in with his left hand.
Transfer from East Tennessee State in the scorebook for the Redbirds, and he stays in the game. Terry Johnson's going to be at the free throw line. It'll be Rubin, Phillips, Mishler, Clark, and Johnson, the 5 on the floor right now for the Redbirds, so a relatively small lineup. And Terry Johnson, the freshman from Chicago, to shoot free throws. Second free throw is on the way and good. Redbirds showing some full court pressure now here.
And obviously the reason for the smaller lineup, a little more quickness, be able to cover a little more area on the defensive end.
Bobcats content to just, they're not necessarily looking to attack the basket at this time. They're running some clock.
No doubt about it. They're very content to use that shot clock and run it down to within 5 every time.
Cooper left open. Of course he's going to knock it down. What a game he's had against a team from his home state. Now it's Mishler. He may have traveled, yep. So Cooper now with 18 points. A new career high for the freshman from Seton Academy in Chicago. Double-figure scoring now in 7 of his first 9 college basketball games. And now Bassett is fouled in the backcourt by Justin Clark. So the Redbirds will try to pick up the pieces, Bob. They'll head to Utah on Saturday. Just a handful of non-conference games left before the Valley season starts.
That's exactly right. And the Birds obviously have got to get some things corrected before they get into Valley play. And it all starts on the defensive end, no question about it. That's where your heart and soul, and that's where Tim Jankovic's team prides itself on. And there's been slippage in that area, and you better believe that right away tomorrow they will start working on it. And it'll be... It doesn't happen overnight. You don't correct slippage in a one-day practice scenario.
Justin Clark misses the 3. The Redbirds have a Saturday game at Utah and a Tuesday game next week at home against Grambling State, and that's it for the non-conference schedule. It's all Valley games outside of the bracket buster contest in February on the remainder of the schedule. In fact, the Redbirds will open Missouri Valley Conference play on the 29th of December at home against Wichita State, a team that's off to a 9-1 start.
Very impressive start for the Shockers from Wichita.
Under 2 minutes left in this one. Here's Cooper again. He's going to float that one and miss it. Rubin comes down with it. Redbirds have numbers if they want them. Phillips. Now it's Rubin. His 3. In rhythm is good. 8 points now for Rubin. He's scored 24 points now in his last 3 games. Well, Ohio had a big spurt to open this second half. A 7-0 run in the opening 2 minutes of this second half, and have never looked back. They had a 5-point halftime lead, then suddenly it ballooned to 12.
Illinois State foul on Justin Clark.
That foul is going to be on Justin Clark, and that's going to send Stephen Coleman to the free throw line.
Well, if you recall last year when the Redbirds ran off 14 straight wins to start the season out, when they did lose the first game, they lost a couple in a row before they got things straightened around. And it appears as if that's the route they've so chosen to go again this year. They lost their first game on Sunday to Niagara. They're losing a second one here tonight, and they've got some things to correct, no doubt about it. But we know this staff knows what to do. We know these players know what to do. Now we just got to get it all back together, get back in the gym, work on it. And it doesn't, like I said a while ago, it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to figure out what this particular identity for this team is going to be.
Fans give a nice round of applause after that made free throw because they've gone over the 70-point mark, so there's a pizza promotion here at Ohio, so the fans will be leaving with some coupons for a local pizza place as we approach the 1 minute mark left in this one. Ball is loose. And a reach-in foul, it looks like, against Alex Rubin. Well, this, again, is just one of those nights where you're going to say, you know what, not much went right on the scoreboard as far as the Redbirds are concerned. You're going to, from time to time, have one of these games, and you just hope that it's not contagious and it doesn't snowball into anything more than just this effort.
Well, and you're exactly right. You got to have some leadership from your seniors, your upperclassmen in general. Have all got to step up and say, you know, these things can happen. We understand it. We've been down this road. It's no fun. Now let's get out of here. And you've got to have some upper-class leadership step up and give some positive direction.
Nice round of applause for DJ Cooper, who leads the game with a new career high of 18 points.
And you made a good point earlier also in the fact that it's a long season. You will have nights like this, and then you will have nights where you probably get things accomplished that you shouldn't. Things just go your way.
Lloyd Phillips misses. Tony Lewis cleans up underneath. We're seeing Tunjay Adedipe in the game for the first time now for Ohio. This is David McKinley. He's just played in 2 games this year. This is just his 3rd game. Knocks down the jumper. So some bench players starting to get into the scoring column for Ohio here. This is a 3 from Phillips in the final half minute of this one. The Redbirds will slip to 7-2 on the season, and the Ohio University Bobcats will improve to 6-3. Ball's out of bounds, and it's going to go to Ohio. Well, the Redbirds haven't seen this place in 13 years. Won the last meeting between these two teams back in December of 1996, and probably are thankful that they are not going to have to come back for a while after an effort like this one tonight. It's just, again, one of those things where nothing really seemed to go right for the Birds, and you're going to have those in a 30-some-odd game schedule.
Yep, you will have. And this is a group that's got pride. This is a group that's got talent. And this is a staff that knows what it's doing. They will regroup. They'll put it together. It won't necessarily happen overnight, but it will happen. This team will improve, and you're going to see better days ahead.
Tim Jankovic and John Gross shake hands at half court. And the Ohio U Bobcats leave the floor with a 75-57 win over the Redbirds of Illinois State. So the Redbirds, again, will go back to the drawing board and try to regroup after their second straight loss. Again, they'll head to Utah to play the Ute. Consecutive loss. And they're going to need to do that because, as you mentioned, they're going to Ohio, or they're going to Utah on Saturday and then Grambling State on Tuesday of next week. Then it's Valley time.
That's exactly right. They've got to put things together and get a little tougher mentally, physically. They got to put things together. We see Jackie Carmichael, recipient of a little slip screen right there on a pass that he gets and puts down one. Dima Odiakosa gets one inside, misses the initial shot but stays with it, gets hacked, strong enough to go up through the foul and finish off a three-point play there.
Odiakosa, the only Redbird in double figures tonight. He had 13 points and 11 rebounds. And meanwhile, DJ Cooper had 18 points to lead his team, the Ohio Bobcats, tonight. He had 18 points. We had, let's see here, who else? 14 points for Armin Bassett and 2 10-point efforts. Jay Kinney and Coleman also with 10 points for Ohio U. So, again, the final score here, 75-57. Ohio beats Illinois State. How about some final thoughts here as we wrap things up here from Athens, Ohio?
Well, again, not to beat a dead dog, but we've talked about things over and over throughout the broadcast here in the second half that the Redbirds are going to have to regroup. They got to get a little tougher mentally. They got a little tougher physically on the defensive end. That's where it's going to start. They're going to be in the gym tomorrow, starting right there. You better believe they're going to work on those areas. This will be something that they look back on and draw from this and learn from this and move forward from this game. And it's not something that you need to belabor for a lengthy period of time from the coaching perspective, but it's something that you use as a learning tool and go forward from this. This is something that you don't want to have happen on a regular basis, and I don't believe with these players, these coaches, that this is going to be a regular outburst from this group right here.
The 9-point scoring effort from Osiris Eldridge, the first game in which he did not reach double figures in his last 14 games. So just really a rough night all around for the Redbirds. Again, the final 75-57. Ohio beats Illinois State. Thanks to all the folks here in Athens, Ohio, fine hosts of tonight's basketball game. And the producer-director of Illinois State University basketball here on Comcast is Frank Blaine. Thanks to his fine staff here, the camera operators, and everybody who brought you this telecast on the lines of Comcast. For Bob Morris, this is Kurt Pegler again. 75-57 Ohio U over ISU. And good night from Athens, Ohio.